Today's lesson is an extension of what we did on Thursday. We're simplifying expressions with the distributive property. The distributive property allows us to multiply each term inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. Algebraically, we would say A times the quantity B plus C, and that would equal AB plus AC, because we have to multiply each of these terms by the A. Here we have A times the quantity B minus C, which would equal AB minus AC. Notice the difference. Here we have a positive, here we have a negative. Be careful with your signs when multiplying positives and negatives. That's really important, being careful with the signs. So let's try some examples. A group of friends went to the movies, and the three guys each bought 2 tickets, and we're going to call tickets T, just like we did before, popcorn P, and 2 drinks D for themselves and their dates. After distributing, we can represent the situation with the expression. So here we have our 3 on the outside of the parentheses, and we have inside the parentheses we have P plus 2T, because there's 2 tickets, plus 2D. So after distributing, we have, well, 3 times P will give us 3P. 3 times 2T will give us plus 6T. 3 times 2D will give us plus 6D. Excuse me. Let's try a few more examples. We have 4 times 2x, the quantity 2x plus 3. So if we multiply that out, 4 times the 2x and 4 times the plus 3, we get 8x plus 12. Here we have the same thing, except this time inside our parentheses we have 2x minus 3. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to distribute it out, distribute the 4, and we get 8x minus 12. Here we have negative 4 times 2x plus 3. Let me show you exactly what's happening when we're distributing. We have minus 4 times 2x plus negative 4 or minus 4 times 3. And that equals negative 8x minus, because we have a negative here, minus 12. Again, we're going to take the negative 4 this time. So we have negative 4 times 2x plus negative 4 times negative 3. Notice I kept the negative with the 3 and put a plus here. That way I make sure that I'm multiplying correctly. So that is equal to negative 8x, and then negative 4 times negative 3 gives us a positive 12. Six, 7, and 8 are the same. 9 is a little bit different, so let's look at that one. This time we have a term that is outside of the parentheses over here, but notice there's a plus in between that and the parentheses. So it stands alone. So what we need to do is first distribute this and then combine like terms. So 2/3 times 3f plus 2/3 times 12 plus f. So if I multiply, if you remember fractions, this is the same as 2/3 times 3/1. Well, I can swap that out. Remember we talked about how you could multiply in a different order? So I could say 3/3 times 2/1. Instead, that means the same thing. 3/3 is 1. 1 times 2/1 is just 2. So on the first term, we end up with 2f. Now on the second one, we can multiply it out and say 2 times 24, because this is the same as 12/1. So 2 times 12 is 24. But then we have to divide it by the 3, and 24 divided by 3 gives us 8. So that's plus 8, and then plus f. Now, we're not necessarily done. We need to look and see if we have any like terms that we can combine. And we do, because we have like bases of f. So when we combine that, there's 2 f's in the first one, and 1 f's in the last one, and 2 plus 1 is 3, so that gives us 3f plus 8. Here's another one that's a little bit tricky. Let's try it. Again, we have a plus sign here, other side this time, so we're just going to start out with bringing that 3/4 x down, and then we're going to distribute 2 times 9 minus 2. Oh, I didn't do the same thing as I did before. Let's be consistent. Let's say plus 2 times negative 1/4 x. So 3/4 x, nothing to do with that, bring it down, plus 2 times 9 is 18, plus, but we're going to have a negative, so let's go ahead and make that negative, 2/4, 2/4, and that reduces to 1/2, so that's minus 1/2 x. Do we have any like terms? You're right, we do, the first and last one. So 3/4 x minus 1/2 x. Well, if we didn't reduce, we'd have 2/4. Remember, we have to have a common denominator. So we have 3/4 minus 2/4, and that gives us 1/4. And it's positive because the 3/4 is larger. So 1/4 x, and we're always going to write the x, the variable term, before a constant. And then this is all by itself, so we'll bring it down and have plus 18. Okay, those look the same as what we've already done. Here we have simplify an expression for the area of the rectangle. We talked about this before. Remember that the rectangle. With the rectangle, we have 2 sides each. So if we add the 2 that we already have, we have 3x plus 2 plus 13.2. But each of those has 2 sides that have the same, so we're going to multiply the whole thing by 2. Now, I would recommend simplifying inside here first just to make it easier. So let's do 2 times 3x plus 15.2. And then we can distribute our 2. 2 times 3x plus 2 times 15.2. And that will give us 6x plus 30.4. And then we're done with that. Now I want to talk to you about one more thing. in real life problems like a rectangle has dimensions. So if we have dimensions, we want to put on units. If we're not given units, then we just can put the word units. It might be inches, centimeters, feet, but we don't know, so we'll just put units. It's a good idea to start getting in the habit of doing that now, and that way when it becomes important, more important than this, you'll already be in that habit. And that's an example of each one that you have here today. Let me know if you have any questions.